What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Full Service with Mr. Full Service. Got a great show for y'all. So, recently, Vice President Harris went down to Jacksonville, Florida, having a conversation about Florida's Department of Education and their African American Studies curriculum, which, of course, she goes down there lying and playing identity politics. So, I'll let you hear exactly what happened with her.
They want to replace history with lies. Middle school students in Florida to be told that enslaved people benefited from slavery. They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us.
The only person gaslighting is you. Of course, she got this information more than likely from just reading one tweet that came across on Twitter. It's funny because me and my partner AJ actually had a conversation about this same tweet, but we'll let her continue.
And we will not have it. Instead, they dare to push propaganda to our children. This is the United States of America. We're not supposed to do that.
The media piling on over the vice president's concerns.
Free housing, permanent employment, and all-you-can-eat cornbread. Board of Education of Florida wants you to see that job description and think, maybe slavery wasn't so bad.
But this is the game that they have been playing, trying to both sides, racism and white supremacy.
I have to laugh. It's so disgusting that there were personal benefits of any kind to slaves. And just
make sure you remember that lady's face because she'll be back in just a little bit.
Because Black people write it don't mean that it doesn't mean it's going to be accurate.
Shame on you people in Florida. How dare you try to whitewash slavery?
Can anybody tell me why is the View still on TV? These ladies have been caught in so many lies and gaslighting and such, identity politics, yet they are still on the air spewing this nonsense. Who's watching them?
And a lot of people around this country are starting to feel that we can't teach the correct history of this country because it makes white kids uncomfortable.
So you get the idea. But National Review says Kamala Harris is brazenly lying about the curriculum. Harris is singling out only one bullet in the program that says this: slaves developed skills which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit.
That's one thing the left does really well. They will obscure one bit of information in order to create this whole falsified narrative.
National Review points out that there are 190 other passages Harris is not mentioning that teach about the evils and horrors of slavery. And two African-American scholars who actually created the new curriculum, they are defending it, claiming it's being taken out of context, with one calling Kamala Harris's claims, quote, categorically false. He says the vice president is misinterpreting what the controversial passage means.
It is the case that Africans proved resourceful, resilient, and adaptive, and were able to develop skills and aptitudes which served to their benefit, both while enslaved and after enslavement.
This is hot on the campaign trail. Ron DeSantis was asked about this in Utah. Here's what he said.
Absolutely ridiculous. It's totally outrageous. You guys can look on the website of the Florida Department of Education. They got a lot of scholars together to do a lot of standards and a lot of different things, but these are the most robust standards in African American history, probably anywhere in the country. She's going to come down to the state of Florida and try to chirp and try to demagogue.
They want to.
DeSantis, 100% my guy. So Kamala Harris, her take on this was so asinine that even her base over at CNN, the leftist media, had to even call her out on this. Check this out.
To me, that how little Kamala Harris apparently has to do, that she can read something on Twitter one day and be on an airplane the next to make something literally out of nothing. This is a completely made up deal.
How is it that anyone could suggest that in the midst of these atrocities, that there was any benefit to being subjected to this level of dehumanization.
Man, listen. So she is just so off base, but that's what they do. This is identity politics at its finest. They are obscuring one small segment of what it actually says. They're not trying to make an argument saying that slavery should be justified or slavery was even a good thing. They are actually talking about the minute benefits that some enslaved people who ended up free gained from slavery. Not in a good way, but of course they have to obscure that. You know, that's how they feed their base. But it's funny because there's actually a website, Fact Check, that actually did fact check Kamala Harris. So I'm gonna pull that up for you guys so y'all can see this too. So this is Check Your Facts. A post shared on Twitter by Vice President Kamala Harris purports Florida middle school students will be taught that enslaved people benefited from slavery. As you can see, this is her post, right? Now, their verdict, the post misconstrues a sentence on page 6 of the over 200-page state academic social studies standards list from the Florida Department of Education, which includes instructions on how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. Florida Board of Education approved a new set of additional standards for teaching African American studies at a Wednesday meeting. Critics of the new educational standards have said it represents a step backwards. Of course, as the leftist media. In the state of Florida, they decided middle school students will be taught that enslaved people benefited from slavery. They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it. This is President Harris. The claim is misleading, however. The post misconstrues a sentence on page 6 that actually says slaves developed skills in which, in some instances, could be applied for their personal benefit. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Believe it or not, some slaves did actually end up developing some skills that helped them after enslavement. Go figure. Now, you can actually go to the Florida Board of Education and or Department of Education, should I say, and pull this up for yourself. Check this out. This right here is what the Florida Department of Education has actually passed, what they're pushing toward their students. The history of the United States, including the period of discovery, early colonies, the War for Independence, the Civil War, the expansion of the United States to its present boundaries, World War, civil rights. This is everything that's being taught in their social studies curriculum. The following is a required instruction statute. In other words, you have to teach these things. The history of African Americans, including the history of African peoples before the political conflicts that led to the development of slavery, the passage to America, the enslavement experience, abolition, and the history and contributions of Americans of the African diaspora to society. Now, I'm going to tell you the problem that most people on the left are actually having. It's right here. The legislature acknowledges the fundamental truth that all persons are created equal before the law and have inalienable rights. Accordingly, instruction and supporting materials on the topics enumerated in this section must be consistent with the following principles of individual freedom. No person is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously, solely by virtue of his or her sex, or race. No race is inherently superior to any other race, right? Now, the reason why they have such an issue with this is because they wanted CRT pushed. And CRT is one of those divisive kind of programs that will tell you that white people are inherently racist. Like they are unconsciously racist. There is no redeeming quality, and there's nothing to be done about it. It's not something that if you are unconscious of this something, that means you have no way of changing it. So they are putting people into the victim class and into the oppressor class. Florida Department of Education is like, no, we're going to tell the truth. No one is inherently racist. Let me tell y'all, you guys have probably had as much experience as I have. Racism is not born. It's not innate. It is something that is taught at a very young age. If you are taught to be racist, then of course you'll more than likely be racist. But life experiences hopefully will get you away from that. So this right here, once again, is an attempt to gaslight and stir up the voting base for the left. Because as we know, they are expecting people to be lazy and not actually go look for themselves. But here you go. It's right here, black and white. You can't miss it. All you have to do is be willing to actually look, because politicians lie. All right. So, make sure you press that subscribe button, like, share, follow, comment, all that good stuff. Also, you can catch us on our live show Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called Simply Sundays. We are streaming to YouTube. We are streaming to Rumble, Twitch, Twitter. Eventually, we're going to get to Instagram and Facebook. We're already on Facebook. So if you follow Mr. Full Service on all those social media platforms, we try to make it as easy as we can to follow the show. Also, check us out on the Trifecta Hour every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, the show is on TikTok, but eventually we're leaving TikTok because of censorship, but that's a subject for another day. All right. So we will eventually, like I said, we'll be moving from that platform. So we have our Trifecta Hour page set up on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, and we do post content onto those pages. As a matter of fact, if you didn't get a chance to watch any of the shows, we're posting those previous shows onto our YouTube page. So you can always go back and come on through and have a laugh with us. All right. All right. So this has been the Full Service with Mr. Full Service. Make sure you leave me a comment in the comment section. Also, let me know what you think I should be reviewing next, because I would actually like to get into more like reaction videos and things like that, just because I kind of like those. All right. And we will catch you guys next time. Please be safe out there. Talk to y'all soon.